So hey bitches, for this one I'm gonna show you how to fix certain lifts, like for example like this one. Of course when you run the lift doesn't boot. And why doesn't it boot? Let's check the output. If you go at the very top you'll see this. It says that the current thread cannot require using asset ID, which is lacking compatibility, load unowned asset. As you can see, this is Roblox's way of preventing malicious scripts. So if you click on the workspace property and you go down to permissions, you'll see this one. Let's change it to experimental. Here you could tick any of those. Of course, the most important part is that the models we insured would have its own permissions, like this one. Take off the sandbox tick and let's see if it works. Of course, it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, you need to go down to this. You need to enable those two, but do not enable this. Of course, it still doesn't work, so you need to disable the sandbox tag here. Now the lift works. Of course, this does not apply to Cuba Plus lifts. It also applies to any lift that doesn't have the, well, you know, like this one. Of course, if we test, the lift doesn't work. For this reason, you need to tick off the sandbox, like select this one and this one, like use control for that. Click sandbox off. And it works. Another way of demonstrating it is that, for example, the Cortex model. For example, I'm gonna use that one old let's just use this one. You will see why this doesn't work. Of course, inserting models from the toolbox isn't really recommended. Like, if you just tick off the sandbox one, the lift works. Well, the base lift works. Of course, for Cortex, you need to like just tick off the sandbox tag for everything. Like, or you could just search this one and then you can just scroll down to sandbox Like if you use call to all, like let's see, sandbox, it only applies to models. First we're gonna do the scripts. Like just tick off the sandbox. Of course, you can do this to make it faster. Now everything in this lift works, kinda. Apart from the button labels though, but I guess this kinda short tutorial would maybe help you quote unquote fix all the lifts. As you can see in the better features tab, which I have but maybe you do not have. Of course, it is impossible to turn off this one. Like, the simple thing is that first you need to go here, set it experimental, make sure sandbox is off for everything. It's kinda an annoying process, I know, but this is proof that Roblox is actually trying to, like, get rid of malicious scripts. Of course, local models are not affected. For example, this one. Well, not really that one, but like for example, let's just use a certain model like the quality lifts. As you can see, inserting models from SRP XM files, you do not have to do this step. It's just that you only have to do this step when you insert models here. Inserting models like dragging an RBXM file like the one I showed in the HF929 for asset hub tutorial, it's like that. So we are planning to make my lifts work using this technique. It's better to use the ones from HF9329 for asset hub as they're easier to use and that there's more updated products that still works with modern blocks, unlike older models which doesn't. I guess that's it.